predict what will happen. What I can do to make sure that everyone has a good time and that everyone can actually follow on discussions and get involved is to keep sessions no longer than 2 hours. You also have the power to stop the discussion at any point. You can lay points on the table, you can set a time limit for points and so on. So please, if you feel that something is going for too long, step in and take action. The GA is for you, for official delegates to say and to stay atop your mind and to shape the discussions. Our role is merely to organize and to give the environment for this to happen. With all of this in mind, yes, and one more thing, there will be one more small change tomorrow morning. We will start with a short presentation from Bram, chairperson of IPSF Europe Regional Office, and then we'll carry on with the regular agenda. If there is a need, we might have an extra session tomorrow afternoon if everything is delayed, but I hope that does not happen. Thank you. I'm done with the public service announcement, and Daniela, you can start with the roll call.
Okay, good morning, everyone. You know how we do it. We put a line in the chat, and when you hear your association, please type a Y. Can I just have the PC to write a line in the chat? PC, thank you. Okay, so AFOP Austria, VFSO Belgium, SAFPON Bosnia and Herzegovina, BPHSA Bulgaria, CPSA Croatia, SUPSA Cyprus, USF Czech Republic, CURS Estonia, FIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, GPSF Greece, HUPSA Hungary, IPSA Ireland, LPSA Latvia, SFD Lithuania, MPSA North Macedonia, KEDO, ENDO, PIDO, ESDO, VIDO the Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, PPSA Poland, APF Portugal, FASFER Romania, NAPSTER Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, SHSCP Slovenia, FEF Spain, SNAP Sweden, ASEP Switzerland, UPSA International Turkey, BPSA United Kingdom. Okay, we have 24 voting members present.
And I resume the standing orders.
Thank you. Before we start, I have a 914 proposed by AFOP Austria, seconded by BPHD Germany. I will give the floor to AFOP.
Malina, AFOP Austria. In order to make this more efficient, we propose to limit all the answers of reports and everything coming up to 1 minute. Thank you.
Now I give the floor to BPHD.
KU and BPHD Germany, we agree on what AFOP Austria suggested.
Okay, I open the floor for discussion on the 914. Mihai with the technical.
I see agreement in the chat. I see no new points. Mihai, President, sorry, so I close the floor for discussion.
Thank you. Now we can vote on the 914. Please type for, against, or abstain in the chat. Okay, we have 25 votes. That's because Napster also voted. You are not here during the roll call, so you will not have voting rights for this session. So 24 votes for the 914. Carried unanimously. KMPSV?
Yes, Henrik KMPC Netherlands, just adding to that, I would like to comment on the roll calls and the amount of organizations voting, because yesterday the number of voting members was very inconsistent throughout the session and declined a bit over time. I would urge all of the member organizations to pay close attention to what happens at the GA. Don't miss the roll call and vote whenever possible, as the GA and everything discussed there is very important. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And type 3 eyes next time that was a technical or the technical. Thank you. Now we can proceed to the next point of the agenda for today. Napster with the technical.
Hello everyone, I just want to point out that yes, we were present at the roll call, so please check once again. We checked already. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give PC 2 minutes to check who was not in the roll call because somebody was Yes, we found out the problem. Sorry for that. NOPSA was not in the roll call, so they will not have their voting right now. So we have a maximum of 24 votes. Okay, please be careful next time, and I will once again ask you to name yourselves properly. And if you don't know how to rename yourselves, please write to the co-host in private so we can rename you. Because after the third notice, we will start kicking people out because we won't know who they are. That's all with the technicalities from me. And we can move on to the Team's Autumn Assembly report. We will start with the administrative department, and we will now have the president. Mihai with the technical.
Mihai, President, for this point, I will pass the chairing to Maeva. Thank you.
Mihai, please present your updates since submitting the report.
Hi, President. Thank you. So, since I wrote my report, I opened the discussion about reviewing the membership fees, and I can announce you that they will remain the same. I have sent the EPSA calendar to LSs. I have submitted some documents to the GA package. I had a meeting with PC and Daniela to discuss the upcoming GA. I reviewed one individual membership application. I have resent the registration papers to the French tribunal. I had a meeting with Maeva, Bianca, and the lessons of SHSSFD and ANEF to discuss a possible wording change to the regulation change laid on the table at the 59th EPSA General Assembly. I have received and forwarded Senziana's resignation. I have attended the GE Prep meeting. I have hosted the ODs meeting. I have attended the EduProf meeting. And of course, I have chaired the second team meeting.
Thank you. Before starting, I'll have to tell you that we will first take questions on the updates presented, and after that on the report itself. I open the floor for discussion. I see no questions on the updates, so you can ask the questions on the report. PPSA?
Yeah, Anna, PPSA Poland. Thank you, Mihai, for your report. I have a question in regards to EPSA registration in Belgium. You mentioned that you contacted some associations and that you received the answer from one. And my question is, what was the association, and what are the outcomes of the contact with this association, and if it's helpful to register EPSA in Belgium? Thank you.
Mihai with the direct.
Mihai, President, thank you for the question. I have contacted 3 associations. I have IVSA, the veterinarian students, and ELSA, European law students. Out of these 3, I will take 1 second. Please tell me when you can properly hear me. All good now, okay. So I have contacted BEST, IVSA, and ELSA. Out of these 3, I have received an answer only from BEST. And from that discussion, I can clearly state that we will need the proper legal advice when we will proceed with this. This has costed them in 2013 an amount of 44,600 euros. That would be my conclusion after those discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, APEF with the first new point.
Ines Apef, Portugal. Regarding the representations, you state that you haven't been able to do a proper one during online events you have attended. Can you please share with us what kind of strategies do you plan to use in order to represent the interests of EPSA the best way, since we believe we won't have live events that sooner? Thank you.
Mihai, with a direct.
Mihai, President, thank you for the question. I think my point was a bit misunderstood. I have said that, in my opinion, online representations are not proper representation and we cannot have the same outcomes. Not that I don't, okay. But as for strategy, we are keeping a constant eye on possible online events that we can attend. We are taking them as online rep funds at the moment, and I plan to take some of those as soon as possible, and the ones that I can see fruitful to also have some networking and some interactions with the participants, because at the end of the day, this is, in my opinion, what representation should be, and not only attending one event and saying that yes, EPSA was present. We need some concrete outcomes out of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Shusha Sufadu.
Moisa Sufadu, Slovenia. First of all, we would like to congratulate you for the amazing work you've done so far. In the report, you mentioned being present at the meeting with partners when it wasn't really relevant or useful for you to be there. Was this also a normal practice in the past for presidents to attend those meetings?
Mihai?
Mihai, President, this is something that was sort of discussed during the handover to also have the president in some of these meetings, because having the president there can have a more powerful impact, even though the president is not saying too much. And this is also one of the strategies we took to accommodate the fact that Vice President of External Relations is not present in Brussels, to have me a bit more involved in all of these. Thank you.
KMPSV.
Kati, KMPSV Netherlands. We had more like a general question about the organization of a real-life team meeting and the General Assembly, because we completely understand that also because of the need in the beginning to organize a real-life GA, according to Torso, you stated, or you started to plan this event. But like mostly the last couple of months, the situation in Europe rapidly worsened. We think that once we were allowed to have an online GA and the planned team meeting should also have been cancelled. Having a meeting in real life with the purpose of getting to know each other, thereby improving collaboration, is very important, but this goes against all advice from all our countries, and I think you should have thought about this earlier. And I was wondering, what is your opinion about this? Because traveling like an European Pharmaceutical Students Association doesn't really sound like something you want to promote.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you for the question and for the comment. The main idea and the main purpose was to bring the team together in order to bond and in order to have the team properly working. Working in a remote team completely without associating a name to a face can be very difficult. And it is quite difficult at the moment. This is something that you will probably be able to see when reading the minutes of the second team meeting. I do agree that mobility in these times is not something very desirable, but we have tried until the very last moment to make sure that there is actually no possibility to have the team together. The team morale was priority number one, and keeping in mind everything that is happening, we have done our best to make sure we can meet in person. Thank you.
Fesefere?
Silvia Fesefere, Romania. First of all, we would like to show our appreciation towards the work you have done so far. And we would like to know your observation on the team's KPIs, key performance indicators, after the team meeting. Are they still according to the team's strategic plan? Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, usually we are doing a spreadsheet after the team meeting to have a concrete overview of what is happening. At the moment, I can say that they are happening and they are advancing, but I don't have the full overview of where we stand at the moment. And yes, you have a fair comment. I think, at least me personally, I did not look at the strategic plan when writing mine, and I have a feeling that more of the team has done that as well. So thank you for your suggestion. This is something to keep in mind for the next team meeting, and we can maybe change them there and take one more look at the strategic plan.
Thank you. APEF?
Ines APEF Portugal, regarding the registrations in Belgium, which professionals are you planning to contact in order to seek for advice? And have you have any idea of the budget for this legal counsel? Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, when it comes to professions, first of all, we need lawyers and maybe an accountant to properly understand what it will mean and what impact this registration will have, and to know how to prepare and to prepare the next budget. Can you please tell me once again the second part of the question? The budget, yes. From what we've learned from BEST, they spent 4,600 euros. I expect our costs to go maybe a bit higher because we have a lot of regulations that may need amendment. I think somewhere around 6,000 euros is what I expect for the council fees. And then we will see exactly how much it will actually cost to register EPSA in Belgium. Thank you.
Next question also from APEF.
Yes, APEF Portugal, it's not a question, but even though we understand it's not easy to lead a team online and search for ways to keep motivating them, APEF is really happy that GA and team meeting went fully online, since we believe you shouldn't have motivate members and the team to get together live during this pandemic situation. If we had a breakout of COVID due to the EPSA activity, that wouldn't be any good for EPSA and for the external parties. With this, we would like to take for you to take into consideration the health of the students. I know you took and you explained to the Netherlands now, but we want you to be more careful next events and to also take into consideration the association's opinions. Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you for your kind words. And one short thing I would like to add here is that from the beginning, we kept in mind the fact that if one member cannot join these team meeting /GA, we're gonna look for an alternative so that we can give them the possibility. We are investigating the like hybrid live /online GA from the beginning, because we knew that there was the possibility to have at least one with travel restrictions.
APEF with a direct?
Yes, APEF Portugal, yes, we know you give us the option, but we would like you to not give the option at all and not to motivate as you did on the email. It's just that. Thank you.
Next, a new point from APEF.
Carolina, APEF Portugal, what are the meetings that you consider that your presence was not useful?
Clarification, Mihai?
Mihai, President, can you please reword your question, because I do not understand what you mean. You are asking about meetings with chairpersons that I did not find useful.
APEF?
Carolina, APEF Portugal. Yes, in your report you said that you have attended all the meetings with partners or RCs, but sometimes it was useful to be there. Our question is, what are the meetings that you consider that your presence was not useful? Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you for the clarification. Sometimes meeting with partners that were not to discuss something big, like to negotiate something or to set some big future plans, and that were just follow-ups, were, in my opinion, not that beneficial for the President to attend. Thank you.
Next, a new point from KNPSG.
Henrik KNPSG, the Netherlands. So regarding the team trainings, why hasn't there been at least one team training? And what are your plans for this? Because it seems like something that could increase the bonding and such between the team, and seems like it would be especially useful in the beginning of the mandate. Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you for the question. We wanted to do the team trainings per se so far, but we had to keep changing plans and nothing was certain, and we didn't have the proper time to follow up on this. But we are currently discussing an educational program for the team, like a general educational program. Trainings are part of this, alongside with many other activities. Once Josef, our Vice President of Education, clears up with the autumn assembly, we'll start to push forward this and to have everything ready and to start moving in this direction. Thank you.
A new point from PPSA?
Paulina, PPSA Poland. You wrote about some changes in the structure of the team. And my question is, when exactly do you want to confirm this restructure? Because election call is always before GA.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you for the question. We'll start discussing this at the executive meeting that will happen around 1st of December. These discussions have already started in individual meetings, but now we'll centralize everything. And members will be informed, I think, sometime at end of February, beginning of March, depends on how fast we can put everything on paper. At least the general plan and the general idea, so that you know what positions to recommend to your students, what not, how positions will change and so on, so that they know what to expect before they apply. The plan is to have everything voted in the next GA so that the new team will work on the restructure, and that in the 62nd GA, 1 year after this, to have the strategic plan alongside and in the same lines of the restructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I have EPSA.
EPSA Ireland, thank you for your report, Mihai. I was just wondering, under activities in 2.9 for other, you said that staying on top of everything is not easy, which I completely understand. And you just mentioned a good system is required to keep track of everything. And I was wondering if you could maybe explain what this system might be.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, this is referring to the way that the President email account is organized. It has multiple inboxes. On the left is the main inbox. On the right, there are 6 categories where email go, like they are sorted and go there for me to keep track of them and to know how urgent it is to tackle them and when to actually do something about them. One is general info, one is about events, one is my to-do list, one is to discuss in OEM and so on. This system is what I found working for me, and if I did not have that, I would forget a lot of emails and a lot of things will slip out. Thank you.
KNPSV?
Kati, KNPSV Netherlands. We completely understand that you moved the date of the second team meeting again because more members could, or more team members could attend. But in the future, we would really like to say that you should stick to the dates. And when changing from a real life event to an online event, you should take this into account when planning the event to make sure that even if the event is changed to online, the dates would still stay the same, because the member associations also consider these dates, and it might cause problems in our own agenda. Thank you.
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you very much for the comment. I am very much aware of what this into that in my report, and will
Mihai, we could not hear you because you dropped. Could you please repeat?
Can you hear me now? Okay, so thank you very much for the comment. We are very much aware of what changing the dates caused. We have learned a lesson from this. This was stated in my report as a lesson learned, and I will make sure to highlight this in the handover guidelines so that for the future this is well known and to know the importance of sticking to the same dates.
Thank you. Now we have two new points from alumni. Carolina, go with the first one.
Carolina, alumni coordinator. So as Binka said, I'll have some questions from the alumni. So here's the first one from Patrick AB about the restrictions. Currently, there are 30 positions within the team, 29 without the immediate vice president. Is your aim to reduce the numbers of positions within the team and thus economize on the number of projects?
Mihai?
Mihai, President, my main idea going forward in this restructure is to drop the projects that are not delivering that are not delivering to our students according to the effort that is put in these projects, like to balance somehow and to think about a balance between effort put in and what is delivered. But I will not necessarily go with the mentality to drop positions and to make the team smaller. I would cut away what is not working right now, and I would leave room for the next teams to start growing again and to start growing projects and to try ideas to see what works and what not. In my opinion, this should be done every 4 or 5 years maximum. Thank you.
Thank you. And now the last point on the speaking list, another question, another new point from the alumni. Catalina?
Carolina, alumni coordinator, again from Patrick AAB, also about the restructure. In a previous mandate, it was discussed to remove the audit committee members from the EPSA team and put these positions for two persons of members association. This because the workload of the audit committee is only addressed 3 weeks prior to a congress where the financial documents are presented. So there is no need to bother them with the team correspondence throughout the year. This matter was pushed forward to upcoming mandates because time constrictions withhold the mandate to create a fitting proposal for a General Assembly. How does this idea fit in your version of restructuring?
Mihai?
Mihai, President, thank you very much for the question. I would like to start my answer by asking if you could write in the chat exactly the mandate when this discussion started so that I can dig up into it a bit more. And I will continue to say that in the last 2 mandates, the workload of the audit committee changed a bit. They are checking the finances of EPSA every month. They are checking Conscribo basically. And my vision about the audit committee after the restructure is that these are 2 positions that, even though are not working that much and do not have such a high workload, they are very much needed. Removing them and asking members to audit the financial books would be a step back, in my opinion, because we are training 2 persons to go through these books to get used to the system and everything. If we ask members, we will have to teach someone every 3 months, 6 months, something like that. So I believe that this is a step forward to have an audit committee in the EPSA team, and I believe the benefits are outweighing the disadvantages. Thank you.
I have a 9.3 proposed by KMPSB, seconded by Shistafidel. I open the floor for discussion on the 9.3. Maeva with the technical.
Maeva VPIA, I close the floor for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we can vote on the 9.3. So please type for, against, or abstain in the chat. Okay, we have 23 valid votes for the 9.3. It was carried. NOPSA, please keep in mind that you don't have voting rights for this session. So the floor for discussion on the President's report was closed. And the technical from Maeva?
Maeva VPIA, I pass the chair back to Mihai.
And I also pass facilitation to Eva.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Okay, good. Next, we will take Daniela, so Secretary General. Daniela, you may present your updates. Yes, Daniela.
Hi, let me just find them. Okay, so since writing my Autumn Assembly report, I have collected the Autumn Assembly reports from LSS team and NIMS. I've compiled the GA package with the help of the Parliamentary Council and Mihai Unita. I shared the GA package with the LSS. I kept track of the credential forms and organized them in a folder. I shared the credential forms folder with the Parliamentary Council. I attended and minuted all of the team meeting sessions. I coordinated the meeting secretaries for the team meeting. I attended the OD's meeting and minuted it. I worked on making a template for team meeting minutes because that I could not find that in the library. And then I worked on some OEM minutes and prepared for minuting the GA. That's it.
Thank you, Daniela. Now we'll first take questions on the updates. Mojca?
Mojca SSVD Slovenia, you mentioned that you did a new template for team meeting minutes. Did you change anything or did they stay the same?
Daniela?
Daniela, Secretary General, thank you for the question. It is practically the same thing. It's just I'm making a template that is now clear and there is no text. So when the Secretary General needs to just download the template, she can just download that and she can start writing the minutes straight away with just changing minor things like the number of the meeting and the dates. Because now the way I have to do it is I have to delete everything and I have to start from scratch. So that will save a lot of time, I think, for future meetings.
Thank you, Daniela. Any other questions on the updates? I see none. And now we'll take questions for the report. Katie, KNPSV.
Kathy, KNPSV Netherlands. Thank you for your comments in the minutes. We can imagine that double checking everything with the recordings can be incredibly time consuming, but you mentioned that you get about 90% of the information written down during the meeting. Maybe you could note the time when the conversation is going too fast and you're not able to follow. This way you don't have to listen to the whole recording, but you don't have to be afraid to miss any important information. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Now we have Ines, APF Portugal.
I guess Daniela has a direct, no? Oh, great. Is APF Portugal? Oh, okay.
Yes, sorry. Apologies, Daniela.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Katie for the comment. That was something that was brought up in the team meeting as well. And I think it's just a matter of confidence. So I'll definitely start just relying more on what I do in the meeting, because I think I'm getting most of them, most of the things written down. Sorry, Daniela, Secretary General.
Thank you, Daniela. Now we'll take APF.
Inês APF Portugal. We would like to ask you, now that some months of the mandate have passed, how do you feel regarding the workload, and if you have any strategies to cope with it or proposals to revise it at this point? Thank you.
Daniela?
Daniela, Secretary General. I think so far the workload has been okay. I think the main thing that will influence the workload is how the executive and the other team members write their updates and how they speak during meetings. For example, if they are going into brainstorming sessions or discussing a lot or having very unclear questions, it is very difficult to minute. So then that makes my workload 2 times bigger because I'll have to revise everything again. If they are clear, it is a lot easier to do it and it saves time. So in terms of workload, I think it's okay. It just needs the other team members to be aware of how they should be speaking in the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. Next we have SHSFD.
Moica, SHSFD Slovenia. In the report, you've written that you would assign an executive member to help you with the minutes, with the minuting. Have you already talked to them regarding that, as all of them had quite an extensive portfolio already?
Yes, Daniela.
Daniela, Secretary General. That was just an idea I had since the beginning of the mandate. I still haven't opened the email thread, but I will shortly after the AA. What my idea is just to have one of the exec members take notes during an OEM, and it will not be every week the same person. It will be different depending on their workload for that week, and it's completely up to them whether they want to do it or not. The reason why I wanted this to happen is just for them to understand how important it is for them to be clear and specific when talking, and that's it, and just to get some help as well. So that's it. But if they don't want to do it, it's absolutely fine. It's just something new that I'm trying out. So yeah, I'll talk to them after the AA.
Thank you, Daniela. Next we have Sefera.
Silvia Fesfer, Romania. We would like to congratulate you on your organizational skills, on the transparency of the minutes that you provide to the member association. We are happy to see that EPSA's important discussions are being stored properly for the next generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniela?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I wanted to encourage all the LSs, if you ever have any questions about anything discussed in an OEM, please feel free to approach the executive. I am more than happy to explain briefly if it's not in the OEMs yet. But yeah, thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you, Daniela. And now we'll have a question from alumni.
May I?
Yes, Carolina.
Carolina, Alumni Coordinator. This question is from Ruben, AAB. Are there any digital tools that could be used to facilitate the minuting process and reduce the time spent in this action?
Daniela?
Daniela, Secretary General. I haven't really investigated that further. I tried doing the dictate on Word, but I'm very bad with technology, so that hasn't really been beneficial. I will discuss with Frederiki just to see if she knows anything, the IT coordinator, to see if anything can help. But so far, I am not aware of any things like that, but I will investigate it further and hopefully we'll let you know in an OEM or in updates as to how that's going.
Thank you, Daniela. And we have 9.3 from KMPSV and seconded from PPSA. Okay, first I will open the floor for discussion on the 9.3. I see none. Then I will close the floor for discussion. And Mihai, technical?
Mihai, President, I close the floor for discussion, and as a general note, the chairperson is to close the floor every time. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we can vote on the 9.3. Okay, what's happening? Mihai, technical? Mihai?
Mihai, President, I would like to ask for clarification on what technical should I take right now? The floor is closed on the 9.3, so we should move on to the voting procedure.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Okay, then we'll move on to the voting procedure. I'll just draw a line and you can write for, against, abstain. So we have 24 votes valid. NOPSA, please, you do not have voting rights for this session. So anytime we are voting or something, you will just have to wait for the next one. Thank you. And now the motion 9.3 was carried. Mihai, technical?
Mihai, President, I would like to remind you that I can also close the floor for discussion, and there is no need to actually have a 9.3 at the end of every point for every team member's report. This is just taking a lot of time, in my opinion, and if I see that the speaking list is clear, I can wait for 5 more seconds and then I can close it. If you still feel that you need to cut the discussion short, feel free to use the 9.3 all the time, but just for closing and there are no more questions, please wait a bit more before proposing that 9.3. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihai. And now we'll move on to the next point. Treasurer Dylan, you may present your updates on the report. Yes, Dylan?
Dylan, Treasurer, thank you very much. So my updates are, I planned and attended multiple meetings with the Audit Committee to discuss the reports. I attended a second team meeting. I presented the financial documents to ODs at the GA prep meeting. I took in recommendations of the Audit Committee regarding the accounts, edited them and sent them to LSs. I communicated with team members regarding payments, followed up on queries regarding Working Statement 10 and membership fees, and I confirmed payments of registrations for AA20. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. First, do we have any questions on the updates presented? I see none. Do we have any questions on the report? KMPSV?
Kathy, KMPSV Netherlands, could you elaborate on why these issues with getting access to the bank account occurred and why did it take so long to resolve them? Thank you.
Dylan with a direct.
Dylan, Treasurer, thank you, Kathy, for the question. I think this is going to be a question from a lot of people. I think it was one of the kind of main points of the report. So basically what happened was usually during the live handover between teams going from one mandate into the next, the treasurer of the past mandate gives the cards directly to the treasurer of the next mandate. This year there was no live handover, unfortunately, so this handover did not occur. Regarding the sending of the cards, there was issues involved on Camber's end, who was treasurer of the 2019-2020 mandate. He had issues with getting his name on the cards last year from the bank. They couldn't confirm his basically how to put his name on the cards, which means he still had the names of the previous treasurer, Chris Clerks, on the cards. When it came to sending these cards, a lot of the couriers didn't accept it because it was Camber, a Turkish resident, sending cards with the name of Chris Clerks on them to an Irish address. So a lot of the couriers didn't want to send it. They didn't accept that he could send these cards. Hence, following that, there was a lot of issues regarding that. Regarding the bank, there was a few issues with regards to kind of confirming different details, and it was a very drawn out process. The email threads were tens and tens of emails long, and it was just a very delayed timeline for this, which required quite a lot of paperwork and quite a lot of confirmations of details. Hence, the cards took a very long time to come, and especially with regard to the postal, I think the postal of the cards took around 3.5 weeks from the bank, which was not told to me. I was told it would be a week, but this is just an issue that we faced, and it couldn't be avoided due to the situation with the pandemic. I hope that answers the question, but there was just a few, I suppose, logistical difficulties was the main thing.
Thank you, Dylan. Now we have APEF.
Ines APEF Portugal, following the VPER recommendation in her report, would you welcome the creation of a position solely dedicated to contacting sponsors? Could the grant coordinator accumulate these functions? What do you think about this? Thank you.
Dylan?
Dylan, Treasurer. Yeah, I do think it is an important role, and definitely the position of contacting sponsors, it puts quite a lot of pressure on an individual, and it's quite a lot of a workload, trying to find sponsors and use them from events and things. I do think the VPER has quite a busy portfolio anyway, and there is a lot of pressure put on them to keep in contact with all the external partners. So yes, I would welcome it, especially if it was to kind of improve the sponsorship and the relationships with some of our more, I suppose, corporate partners. That would definitely be something that would be worthwhile in the future.
Thank you, Dylan. Now we have APEF.
Carolina APEF Portugal. What are your strategies to improve the communication internally, since that you stated in the point 2.16 that the communication must improve? Thank you.
Dylan, clarification?
Dylan, Treasurer, can you clarify with who I said that? I can't remember the exact point myself.
Carolina, APEF?
Carolina APEF Portugal. Yes, you said it in the point 2.16. I have received several invoices from the past VPER, or which I have issued invoices for. And in the recommendations, you said that communication must definitely improve internally. And our question is if you have some proposals regarding this. Thank you.
Dylan?
Dylan, Treasurer. Yeah, sorry, I think I know what you mean now. It was basically just to do with sending on invoices or sending on requests for invoices as soon as possible in order to sort the whole process quicker, rather than leaving it for for a period of time in which the person who was being issued the invoice probably wouldn't be too happy with that kind of lapse in time, I suppose. But that was the main thing, and just issuing invoices on an efficient basis.
Thank you, Dylan. Next we'll take SSFD.
Mojca, SSFD Slovenia. In the report, I didn't find anything regarding the Trainers Fund. So have you already talked about the possibility of Trainers Fund with Josef and Max, and how would that affect the EPSA's budget?
Dylan?
Dylan, Treasurer. Yeah, I've discussed this with Joseph, a bit with Max, and then with the rest of the exec. It was something we've been looking at this year. We've been looking at it. Well, there's not really a need for it this year due to the fact that there's going to be likely to be no travel, which means the trainer funds it's not going to be able to be initiated this year. We've also been looking at how we can allocate different parts of the budget to the trainers fund. This year, it's obviously possible due to the fact that items are budgeted for travel and representation and things, so we could redistribute it this year. but that wouldn't work for future years because of the fact that travel will be happening again. So it looks like that the money will have to come from either different forms of sponsorship, different forms of grant approvals, or else a complete rejig of the entire budget. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Dylan. Now we have Fasifera.
Silvia Fasifera, Romania. We would like a clarification on the payment confirmation process at the Autumn Assembly registrations. Why did some participants immediately receive confirmation on the payment, meaning 2-3 days maximum, and the others had to wait a couple of weeks for this? Thank you.
Dylan with the direct.
Dylan Treasure. I assume this was probably related to early September payments. In that case, that was outlined in the report about how the cards weren't received, so there was no access to the bank account to confirm the payments. I'm not sure, was this the issue? If it wasn't, please ask again.
Thank you. Then we'll have KMPSV.
Kathy, KMPSV Netherlands. In your report, you mentioned that you discussed having the auctions and raffles virtually at this AA, but you decided not to. Could you elaborate on why you made this decision? Thank you.
Dylan?
Dylan Treasure. Excuse me. Yeah, it was basically not decided on because there was no way to distribute the winning items, I suppose. The logistics of sending an item from, let's say, Belgium to somewhere like Turkey or some of that was turning out to be very expensive, especially depending on the size of the item. So we opted against it for this autumn assembly, but should the annual Congress take place in May, we'll be looking into different methods of, I suppose, sending items and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I believe we have EPSA.
Hi, EPSA Ireland. I was just wondering, and apologies if you've already stated the answer to this, but in activities in 2.1, for a recommendation, you just said that if the pandemic is still an issue next year, you're going to have some procedures in place to ensure the cards have access in time. Do you have any ideas what these procedures might be?
Dylan?
Dylan Treasure, thank you for your question. Yeah, so the procedures will be slightly easier for me because my names are on the cards this year. So the sending process should be easier. I'll also be kind of communicating with the bank to ensure that the cards are sent on time and that they are aware of the fact that the situation, should it still be in the middle of a pandemic, that the cards will have to be sent as soon as my financial year is over. So the next year's treasurer should have it as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dylan. And now I believe we have the point from alumni.
Yes, Carolina, the coordinator. We have a question from Ruben, AAB. The fact that you got the card late in your mandate affected your work. Any possible solution for presenting this in the future?
Dylan?
Dylan Treasure. I think I just answered that question there, but if it's taking a different point, could you just clarify?
Carolina?
Yes, sorry, it was answered. I apparently dropped for a minute. I'm sorry, it can be dropped.
Thank you, Carolina. Mihai with a direct. Technical, Mihai?
Yeah, President, I close the floor for discussion.
Thank you. And next we will move on to, I believe, the Public Relations Department. And we will start with the Vice President of Public Relations, technical from Bianca.
Thank you. Just as a clarification, there is no need for 9.3 to close the floor for discussion. These are not motions. PC can move on if nobody speaks. There is no need for chairperson to close the floor, but we do this so we know we can move on to the next point. But PC can pass to the next point anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. Serena, you may present your updates.
Hi, Serena, Vice President of Public Relations. So since the submission of my report, I hope you can hear me well. I attended all the OAMs. I organized and attended the second department meeting. I finalized the first department meeting minutes, and here I would like to really apologize for not submitting them until now. I had some technical issues on those ones. I made a research on merchandise, and I prepared an email to be shared with the team for the next week. I started email threads about some external collaborations with Unica that I received in the PR form. I started to work on Science Monthly. I sent the ESSP materials to the PR department member, to the PR subcommittee member, sorry, to work to work on it after I organized them, and I discussed with the science coordinator about them all. I attended the first day of the 16th General Assembly. I worked on some materials for the open calls that we are preparing. I had a meeting regarding EAD promotion with EDU, ER, and PR departments, and I discussed over LinkedIn with an IT specialist about helping regarding the website development and security.
Thank you, Serena. First, we'll take questions on the updates. I see none, and now we'll move on to questions for the report. Let me see, we'll start with KMPSV.
Kathy, KMPSV Netherlands, you mentioned in your report that you make use of paid promotion for the World Pharmacist Day. Could you tell us something about the reach of this in contrast to unpaid promotion? This, by the way, might be a question which Lucy might know more about, but I asked it because it was because you mentioned the paid promotion in your report. Thank you.
Serena?
I can definitely tell you that it was worth it. Lucy shared with us the statistics of that, and it was like a huge increase in numbers. If she is available, maybe she can tell you the exact numbers, because I don't have them with me right now. But I think it was worth it, and we spent like 10 euros, sorry, like we applied for the one of the lowest payments, and it was really worth it. Like it wasn't increased with maybe twice or something like that amount of reaches and viewers that we have. Yeah.
Next, we have a direct from Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy, social media coordinator. I'm just adding in here with statistics from the campaign. And I can tell you that the reach from the paid promotion was an extra 9,877 on top of their normal engagement.
Thank you, Lucy. Next, we'll have APEF. APEF?
In APEF Portugal, the MOU mentions there should be regular communication between the VPPR and the RMPO, but this is not mentioned on your report. How's the communication with the EPSF Euro RMPO, and do you have any plans or requests for mutual promotion? Thank you.
Serena, VPPR.
Serena?
Oh, sorry.
Serena, you may go.
So Serena, VPPR, yes, during our meeting the other week about EAD, I just told everyone, since they are starting to assemble the campaigns that we are collaborating on with IPSF, just for them to make sure that they are also putting me in CC or in contact after they are like establishing all the details. So until now, there was no collaboration, but I'm waiting forward for it, since I've been also part of IPSF Euro last year. I will really like to improve that collaboration. Thank you for pointing this out.
Thank you, Sorina. Next, we'll have Afop.
Malina Afop Austria. First of all, thank you for all the work, especially with the website. We know that can't have been easy. We just noticed that in the newsletter of the last issue of the newsletter, Austria, the country has no text in it, but then the Czech Republic has AFAP's text. And the summer university was called Annual Congress. Like there's just Annual Congress twice. So I would really encourage you to proofread the things. Thank you.
Thank you, Sorina.
Yes, Sorina, Vice President of Public Relations. I'm aware, I noticed them after we published it. I'm right now waiting for the editable material, and I will change those myself and update the new versions. Yeah, unfortunately, we had no time to proofread this number, and it was quite like it was delayed with 1 day, but that's mainly because we had some technical issues with how our computers work. Like at some point, our computers just crashed, and that's why it took 1 extra day for us to fulfill the task. But yeah, for now on, we will take more time in proofreading it. It was just overwhelming with everything that we had to work on.
Thank you. And then we'll take a point from Fasifera.
Miruna, FSFR Romania. Reading the members' reports, we could not help but see how well organized the PR department is and how easy it is for the other team members to collaborate with you. We would like to take this moment to congratulate you as well as the 4 coordinators on the amazing work that you have done, and we hope to keep it up for the rest of the mandate. Thank you.
Thank you, Miruna. And we'll take SSFD.
SSFD Slovenia. Firstly, we would like to congratulate you and the department for an amazing work. We've seen a lot of new approaches and initiatives which would give us a better understanding of what truly works and what caught people's eye and attention. My question is regarding the press releases. Did you get any feedback from them? On them, sorry.
Sorina?
Sorina, VPPR. Actually, I got 1 feedback from an alumni that received the press release. It just stated to be more clear when sending them. That's something that I still have to work on because we are releasing them by MailChimp usually. Other than that, no one said anything about them. What I'm still planning to work on this mandate, and I discussed at some point it with Maeva, VPEI, is to make some kind of plan on making them more visible, like in externals, using more the externals to showcase our press releases, but it's still work in progress.
Thank you, Sorina. Next, a direct from Jess.
SBPA. I just want to say for the press release that Serena sent out for pharmaceuticals and the environment, I got a couple of emails about that, and I got invited to be a speaker at, I think it was 2 conferences so far, and a couple of professional associations also reached out and just basically said that they were happy that we were being involved in sustainability matters so far.
Thank you, Jess. And then we'll take MPSV.
Kati, KMVC Netherlands. We want to thank you for your hard work, and we think it's a good idea to ask the LS for translating the information on the Wikipedia page. It will probably not take us that much time as it would for you, and it ensures the correct translations, and it also would reduce your workload. Thank you.
SSFD. Or Sorina, did you have a direct here? Okay, thought it was from before. Sorina?
So Sorina, VPPR. Yeah, we discussed that, I think, during our team meeting, if you were present there. like to update the English version of the Wikipedia page, and after that ask LSS for help to translate again, or just update the pages that are already translated, and maybe we can try to translate it to even more pages.
Thank you, Serena. And now we'll have Shasasafada.
Mojca Shasasafada, Slovenia. Regarding the editable materials, can you please elaborate this a bit further? Do you mean just for 1 year to have them, the templates, or for future mandates also?
Serena?
Serena, VPPR, it was actually intended to have them for more materials. We already have in EPSA some materials that have been used for more than 1 year, and they kind of became something generally related to specific EPSA projects, like mentoring projects and everything. And I would like to implement more, since I think that will decrease the workload of the design coordinator. Actually, we already designed some of those materials, but we will just have to see if they pass the test of time and if they are used this mandate for the whole year and in the future as well.
Thank you, Serena. Do we have any other questions? I see none. Okay, then we will move on to the next point, where we will have the design coordinator. Saeed, you may present your updates.
Hello, Saeed, design coordinator. So good morning, everybody. Ever since the Autumn Assembly reports, I have worked on and completed the first edition of the newsletter this year in a new format with a new cover, which did cause my computer to kind of crash. I'm currently working on an online interactive digital version of the newsletter, which will be published online. I attended the PR department meeting. I collaborated with Zara, the PHSS coordinator, on making materials for the public health campaign regarding mental health in children. I then collaborated with Veronica, the publications coordinator, to make covers for her podcasts.
Thank you, Saeed. First, we will take questions on the updates. Do we have any questions? I see none, and now we'll take questions for the report. Where again, I see none. And we can move on to the next point, which is the IT coordinator. Federici, you may present your updates. Yes, Federici.
Okay, so since I submitted my report, I attended discussions on the OEM regarding the creation of a website working group. I did some dry runs on the OBS software that we are using for live streaming. I worked on the EPSA team newsletter and members association pages of the EPSA website. I attended the department meeting we held. I supported the RC of the AA 2020 with certain issues they were experiencing with their country spreadsheets. And also I created a spreadsheet to more efficiently track the state of each of the website pages we have now. Thank you.
Thank you, Federici. So again, we'll first take questions on the updates. I see none, and now we'll take questions for the report. Shasasafada.
Sanja Shasasafada, Slovenia. So we would like to congratulate you for the good work and fighting against website attacks. In your report, you mentioned that full documentation of standard IT procedures needs to be created for better knowledge management, and we were just wondering if you will be the one to create it in this mandate. Thank you.
Federici?
Sorry for taking so long to reply, and thank you for the question. Indeed, since the beginning of the mandate, I have been noting down all the procedures that I am performing, both in the website and also in any other IT-related work, alongside with the documentation we already have. So yes, indeed, the idea is to complete this documentation by the end of my mandate. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Federici. Please state your name and position the next time. Next, we'll take a point from APEF.
Inês, APEF Portugal. Carolina, the alumni coordinator, has referred some difficulties on the project of the alumni map and about the communication, yet you have not mentioned this on your report. Has it been solved, or have you come up with agreement or improved on your communication and the work referring to this project? Thank you.
I think my apologies, like the chat got lost, but I believe it was Serena first with a direct. Yes, Serena?
Yeah, Serena VPPR. So I think why Frederica didn't mention it, it was because mostly in that email thread I answered to Carolina, not her. Like I was also CC'd in that, and I saw the discussion from the past mandate. For now, actually, I don't think it's quite feasible to work on the alumni platform since the website is not stable and the platform is connected with the website. What we should do now is just focus on having a stable and updated website, and after that, try to work on the platform if someone feels like this is necessary. That's why nothing has been done on the alumni platform or any other platform that is connected to the website.
Thank you, Serena. Frederica, is it still a direct?
Yes, Frederici, IT coordinator. Alongside with that, it needs to be mentioned that the platforms were not accessible because of the website. So I was not able to assess the situation regarding the alumni platform during that. That's also why the Sorina took mainly the communication on that part of the threads. Since things are stabilizing now, potentially we could indeed check more what is going on and proceed with that with the relevant coordinators. I hope that explains. Thank you.
Thank you, Federici. Carolina, is it still a direct?
Yes, it is. Carolina, I'm the coordinator. So just to clarify, I have reached out to Frederici around the time of first team meeting, and we have agreed that we will work on the platform this mandate together. But due to the website being hacked all the time, all of us agreed that it is not feasible at this moment. So it is not possible. It's not that we don't want to do it, it's just not technically possible at this moment.
Thank you, Carolina. And now we'll take a point from Fasifera.
Miruna Fasifera, Romania. Do you have any specific ideas on how the LSs would be involved in reorganizing the website? How do you envision this collaboration? Thank you.
Federici?
Thank you for the question. Indeed, as I mentioned, the IT...
Federici, name and position.
Yes, Federici, IT coordinator. Sorry for that.
Thank you.
Yes, so thank you for the question. As I mentioned, the work is being done for the creation of a website working group. For this reason, I'm planning after these sessions of GA, so in the next week, to contact the LSs regarding the creation of the working group and to clarify the situation to you, as well as for reaching out to members or even yourselves that may be interested into working on that. I think that will have the most impact regarding the updates of the website.
Thank you, Federici. The point from Shasasafada was dropped, so now we'll take the point from alumni.
Sorry, yes, Carolina, Alumni Coordinator. This question is from Ruben, AAB. Seeing the problems with the website, could it be useful to invest in seeking professional help in maintaining our online structures, especially now with everything being digital?
Thank you, Federici.
Indeed, since it's kind of an extended issue, this is taken in mind already in the working group, since we are planning, along with the External Relations and European Affairs Department, to be in contact with BEST, an organization that is for students of technology, which are closely related to this kind of, let's say, knowledge. And alongside, yes, Federici, IT coordinator, sorry, again. And on the second part, we were also contacted, as Sorina mentioned, by a professional regarding the website issues. So once we have a clearer proposal with that, that will also be taken into mind regarding the resolvement of the issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Federici. Do we have any other questions? I see none. And now we can move on to the publications coordinator. Veronica, you may present your updates. Yes, Veronica.
Veronica, publications coordinator. Good morning, everyone, and apologize for noises in the background. So since writing my report, I published one article on EPSA blog regarding the PPSA Congress. I am still collecting materials for Meet the Team series, as I'm still missing few associations. I published one podcast episode regarding the mentoring project, and the next episode for Antibiotic Awareness Day is discussed. I am collecting materials for the next monthly dose issue, which will be published on 8th November. And I attended second team meeting and PR department meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. First, we'll take questions on the updates. I see none, and we'll move on to questions for the report. KMPSV.
Kathy, KMPC Netherlands. You plan to increase the number of subscribers for the monthly dose. Do you have any concrete plans on how to increase this number? Thank you.
Veronica.
Veronica, publications coordinator, and thank you for your questions. And indeed, we are thinking on some other promotion strategy for a monthly dose. We gained some subscribers, but we should maybe approach different target groups than association students. But I don't have any concrete plans for that moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Next, we have Shasasafada.
Moica, Shasasafada, Slovenia. Do you have any information on how many students are subscribed to the monthly dose and how many actually read it?
Veronica.
Veronica, publications coordinator, and I don't have any concrete number for now, but there are more than 200 subscribers of the monthly dose. As far as I know, there are some people who are reading monthly dose without subscribing it, but we can actually check if all the subscribers are reading the monthly dose. So thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Next, we have a direct from Jess.
Jess CPA. There's a section on MailChimp that allows you to check to see who's opening, reading the monthly dose. So I can show you that after the GA.
Thank you, Jess. And now we'll take a point from PPSA.
Jana, PPSA. Thank you, Veronica, for the work you've done so far. We congratulate the amazing work, and I would like to thank you for the possibility and for the collaboration on the article about PPSA Congress. And also thank you for the invitation to collaborate on Meet the EPSA members. And my question is regarding this project. When do you plan to start publishing the articles submitted by the EPSA members? Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica.
Veronica, Publications Coordinator, and thank you for your words. And as I said, I am still missing materials from few associations, and I would like to publish all of the articles at once. So it would look similar than Meet the Team articles. You will have like one article with all of the links. So it would be easier for the promotion and all this. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Do we have any further questions?
Moica, SSSD Slovenia. Have you considered asking LSs and readers of monthly dose for opinion of possible improvements of visual image of monthly dose and content?
Veronica?
Veronica, Publications Coordinator, and thank you, Moica, for the suggestion. And I will do that soon.
Thank you, Veronica. Any other questions? I see none. And now we'll move on to the social media coordinator. Lucy, you may present your updates. Yes, Lucy.
Good morning, everyone. So from writing my report, I have posted the interprofessional online Twinit posters. I've shared the translatable position papers. I've posted the Twinit and Erasmus Day videos, which are produced by Martin of the PR subcommittee. I've posted materials for the second podcast and created testimonies for the mentoring project. I've posted the Child Health Day gifts and reshared the members' posts. I've shared a blog on Instagram and Facebook, a MedTech article. During the team meeting, I coordinated a collection of pictures from each team member and created a Facebook post. I posted the latest edition of the EPSA newsletter across the platforms, produced the Meet the Interns post, and finally, I've been working on the last call for the mentees, which should be scheduled to be posted on Monday. Alongside this, I've attended the team meeting, the PR meeting, and the European Antibiotic Awareness Day meeting.
Thank you, Lucy. First, we'll take questions on the updates. I see none, and now we'll take questions for the report. I believe we have first SSSD.
Sanja, SSSD Slovenia. As one of your goals, you mentioned to reach 10,000 followers on Instagram. Since you gained like around 500 in the first half of your mandate and you need 5,000 more to reach that number, what are your strategies to gain more of them? Thank you.
Lucy.
Lucy, Social Media Coordinator. Thank you for your question. I haven't got an exact strategy so far. Every time something comes in through the PR form, I am considering how we can make that content the most engaging as possible. But apart from that, I would like to speak to Serena to have a bit more of a concrete plan going forward. But it's just trying to make every post engaging as possible for the members.
Thank you, Lucy. Now we'll take KMPSV.
Kathy, KMPSV Netherlands. We would first like to congratulate you on your hard work regarding the engagement campaign. The amount of new followers is substantial, and we hope to see it rise even further during the rest of your mandate. Besides, our communication with you has always been very good. You're very responsive. And in your report, you mentioned that you've created a close friend group on Instagram. Have you already used this feature, and how do you plan on using this feature? Thank you.
Lucy?
Thank you for your question. And this was an idea at the start of my mandate to make more of an informal way of reminding the LSs and the member associations what we have to be posted, as often deadlines and things can get lost in email threads. I have used it a few times, but I was planning on working alongside Maeva to create a full group of all the LSs by getting their permission. And that's something we're going to work together after the GA, I believe.
Thank you, Lucy. Now we'll take APEF.
Ines APEF Portugal, we would like to congratulate you, Lucy, for your work, availability, and dynamic ideas. We are really glad for your fast answers and smooth communication with members, as it was supposed to be between the team and the members. So keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ines. Now we'll have KMPSV.
Kati, KMPSV Netherlands. When scheduling posts in advance, do you have any preference for scheduled time? Have you noticed that, for example, the reach is higher in, for example, the morning or the evening or during the day? Thank you.
Lucy?
Lucy, social media coordinator. As much as possible, I have been trying to schedule the posts, but most time materials and information aren't ready until the day. So sometimes I don't have the flexibility of, well, most time I don't have the flexibility of scheduling a post. I believe I do check the views per post and what time it's best in the day. And I believe last time I checked it, there's a lull in the evenings on Facebook, but it's quite high throughout the day until the evenings, which it drops. So I do try and post the post at the most engaging time for everybody, but obviously that fluctuates massively across Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Next, we have the question from alumni.
Carolina, alumni coordinator. This question is from Ruben AB. From my point of view, the activity in LinkedIn is quite low. Do you have any ideas on how to increase the activity there?
Lucy?
Lucy, social media coordinator. Yes, I totally agree with this. I have been trying to keep up to date with LinkedIn, but managing and engaging well across all the platforms is unmanageable for one person. The management of the LinkedIn accounts last year was done by VP External Relations and VP PR. This is something I took up as to cover the first period of the mandate. I was talking to Cinziana about splitting the workload between the two of us, and since her resignation, I've been in contact with Serena, and she is going to take over the platform after the GA, so hopefully the content and activity will increase in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Lucy. Do we have any further questions? I see none, and I believe Mihai with the technical.
Hi, President. So I see we are a bit ahead of the agenda. Thank you for that, and thank you for keeping everything efficient. Everyone is expecting a lunch break now, so I would not push European Affairs Department now. I would rather keep it after the break. So we will suspend the GA. We'll be back at 2 p.m. sharp to restart with European Affairs, and I think we have Edu afterwards. I need to check the agenda to say it properly, but we'll just go in the order. Thank you very much for being with us so far. Looking forward to see you after the break as well. And to Daniela, you have a roll call to do.
Yay. Okay. You have the line, so you should all be ready. When you hear your association, please type a Y in the chat. So, AFO Austria, BPSO Belgium, SAFPUM Bosnia Herzegovina, BPHSA Bulgaria, CPSA Croatia, SUPSA Cyprus, USF Czech Republic, TURS Estonia, TIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, GPSF Greece, HUPSA Hungary, IPSA Ireland, LPSA Latvia, SFD Lithuania, MPSA North Macedonia, KDO and PIDO, SDO, VDO the Netherlands, PPSA Poland, APEF Portugal, FASFR Romania, NAPSIR Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, SHISTA for the Slovenia, FEF Spain, SNAP Sweden, ASAP Switzerland, UPSA International Turkey, BPSA United Kingdom, Okay, we have 24 voting members present.
And I suspend the standing orders.